On Wednesday, 30 Palestinians from the village of Bitila were injured when settlers from the nearby outpost of Givat Menachem attacked them. The settlers' riot is part of something called the price tag policy, whereby the Israeli government decides to demolish a small Jewish outpost in the West Bank or to enforce the settlement construction limit, and in retaliation the settlers attack Palestinians. The media continue to portray the settlers as being in constant conflict with the government and the army. But since Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced the construction limit in December, there have been dozens of attacks on Palestinian villages by settlers, oftentimes with the military present or nearby. The Prime Minister himself reiterated the government's support for the three biggest settlement blocks during the weekend, when he planted a tree in each one, saying these settlements are inseparable from the State of Israel forever. In a recent lecture, Shir Hever of the Alternative Information Center described the mechanism by which settlers take over Palestinian land and expand. He talked about how a settler colony receives proactive or retroactive permits from various ministries, how the government supports its expansion, and how Israeli and international banks fund it.
The Ministry of Defense give a retroactive permit for this colony and recognize it as a community, as an official community in Israel. And after the Ministry of Defense gave their permission, this colony is now considered a town in Israel, although of course they're not in Israel, they are on occupied land. But they're not just a town, they also get a municipal area around them, which is determined by the Ministry of the Interior. And what the army does, they evict all the Palestinians who live in the municipal area. When the colonists want to establish a new neighborhood, but rather than establishing their neighborhood close to the center, they establish it right at the border of their municipal area. It could be 7 kilometers away. It could be that the colonists don't even see each other. They don't even know each other. It's, for all purposes, a new settlement, a new colony. But the way that they officially present it, it is as if it is part of the same community. And then again, the Water Administration of Israel connects this new neighborhood to water. The electricity company connects it to electricity. The Ministry of Transportation will make sure that they have their own road. And the army would put their own platoon to protect this new neighborhood. What the army would usually do is to kick out the Palestinians from this area. And after a while, the colonists would come to the Ministry of the Interior again and say, you know, all this land around us is empty. There are no Palestinians around us now. So why not add this new land to the municipal area? And so the Ministry of the Interior gives them some more. The next neighborhood they can build here, and then get another piece of municipal area. And meanwhile, the colony can expand also in another direction.
Kedumim was the first Jewish settlement in Samaria, the northern West Bank. It follows the example Hever described in his lecture. Settlement representatives often argue the subsidies they receive are in compensation for the risk they are assuming and the harsh living conditions they endure. But instead of growing in a cluster to ensure security, Kedumim, like so many other settlements, spread out over many hills. The Real News spoke to Shoshana Shiloh, the associate mayor of Kedumim.
ואריק שרון שהיה חבר מאוד טוב של המתנחלים, מאוד, הוא בנה את רוב היישובים. ואמר לנו לרוץ מהר, לתפוס את כל הגבעות לפני שיתנו את זה לערבים. אמר שכנראה לא תהיה ברירה ונצטרך לחבר את היישובים הקטנים לגושים גדולים, ואז את היישובים הקטנים לתת.
Across the hill from Kedumim lies the Palestinian village of Kafr Kadum. Its residents told the Real News that the settlement lies on land stolen from them and that they are subject to constant attacks by the settlers.
أنا عم إيهاب يعني كثير بنتضايق من المستوطنين ومن الجيش. يعني قبل يومين أول إشي ما لهاش هسه يومين ليلتين كانت هاي بنتي في التوجيهي مريم تدرس هنا. يعني مش بعيدة عن البيت إشي. اللي هو أجا الجيش بسرعة باكين جايين 3 جنود واللي حكوها ركاض هي حرام بتحكي يما تخيت حتى ايدي انشلت، شاهدت ايدي انشلت.
تتذكر يا حجة قبل ما كيف كانت قبل ما يبنوا هاي المستوطنة؟ كيف
بتذكر
كانت الحياة يعني؟
ما هي كانت الحياة، شايف هاي المستوطنة، ماني بدي اطلع على الاخت، بس هذا اللي هين هاي ارض اهدي كنا يعني واحنا صغار، يعني عمرنا 10 سنين 15 سنة، حتى يأذن المغرب واحنا نلعب هناك في الارض هان. كانت هيك
بلشت مستوطنة صغيرة بعدة بيوت كرفانات، وبعدها تحولت إلى مستوطنة تمتد حبة على حبة حتى بينت إنها أشبه بجزيرة، وتم استيلاء على أراضي كفر قدوم كاملة. كانوا الإسرائيليين بدهم يبنوا جدار على المستوطنة، كان في قرار لبناء الجدار واتاخذ فيه قرار. هلا احنا انبسطنا على بناء الجدار العنصري والفصل العنصري عشان نرتاح من امتداد الإسرائيليين والمستوطنين علينا، لكن للأسف مسؤولين المستوطنات أن رفضوا الجدار عشان يظل عندهم الامتداد والتوسع الموجود للمستوطنات.
בקדומים אין גדר. אני לא יודעת אם ראיתם, אבל קדומים אין לה גדר. קדומים, זה גם דניאלה וייס, היא הובילה את הקו הזה. היא אמרה שאחרי השואה, יהודים לא חיים יותר בגטו, בטח לא בישראל. והיא אמרה, אם רוצים לגדר מישהו, בבקשה, תגדרו את הערבים. לנו אין בעיה עם זה, וכל הממשלות וכל הרמטכ"לים ניסו לגדר אותנו במטרה להגן עלינו. עכשיו, דניאלה אמרה, אנחנו לא מאמינים שגדר מגנה. אנחנו אומרים שאם יש גדר, זה משדר לאויב שאנחנו מפחדים, אנחנו סוגרים את עצמנו בגדר. ובזכות זה גם גדלנו כל פעם לשכונה אחרת. כמובן, אני רוצה להדגיש, כל היישובים ביהודה ושומרון הם על אדמות מדינה. אף יישוב לא לקח אדמות של ערבים, אדמות פרטיות, והתיישב עליו.
And the only way Palestinians can stop them is if they are able to prove that the land which is annexed to the colony is privately owned by a Palestinian farmer. Unfortunately, there are many Palestinians, farmers or house owners, landlords, that do have all the documents to prove that this land does belong to them, but their documents are not accepted by the Israeli court. And also, Israel is using an Ottoman law that remains from the period of the Ottoman Empire, which means that if a Palestinian is not using their land for 3 years, this land can be confiscated.
In 2008, Michael Asensi from Kedumim attempted to invoke this law by taking the lands of Abdul Rahim, Abdul Latif, and Ahmad Abdallah of Kafr Kadum. After a long legal fight, however, the Israeli legal NGO Yesh Din was able to return the land to the Palestinians, and in the legal proceedings revealed that the settler's lawyer himself admitted the confiscated lands were indeed privately owned.
The process of expansion means a lot of investment, mainly government investment, because the government gives all these illegal colonies high priority in terms of economic development and gives them more money. The illegal colonies are also receiving special subsidies from the government. And make no mistake, the subsidies in the West Bank apply only to Jewish illegal colonies. Palestinians under occupation receive no money from the Israeli government at all.
But regardless of whether the land is private or not, according to a legal opinion commissioned by the UN and issued by the International Court of Justice in 2004, all the Israeli settlements and the annexation wall in the West Bank are against international law. This legal opinion led to an increase in Palestinian and international resistance to land confiscations. After a popular campaign in Belgium, the only international bank that loaned to settlements, Dexia, announced 6 months ago that it will stop renewing its loans. Earlier this week, 2 Danish banks also divested from Israeli companies because of their involvement in settlement construction and the wall. Thomas H. Kierkegaard of the Danish Bank Group commented that we do not want to put our customers' money in companies that violate international standards.